My name is Charlton Kūpaʻa Hee Roilo Hee. Kūpaʻa for short. I live in Kaneohe. I was raised in Kailua, which is a town about half an hour south. I work for DLNR, which is the state conservation entity in Hawaii. I work with endangered tree snails in Hawaii. Conservation has been a part of me prior to me becoming an artist and expressing myself through art. My love for science started when I was in intermediate school, and since then I was always studying some type of science, some form of science, and I actually received a Bachelor's of Science at Santa Clara, along with a Bachelor's of Art, so it was a double major. But so art is actually the newer of the two, and slowly they're starting to meld together, and my love for science is showing up in my art as well. And a lot of that is, I guess, how do you say? It's coming out in the gourd forms that I'm creating for the biennial. Kind of a thing that was still fresh in my mind from my art history classes and things from studying art was the fact that a lot of the avant-garde European artists were becoming, or were being exposed to a lot of curios, a lot of artifacts from far off countries and including Oceania. And it was shocking to me that Pablo Picasso's Cubism was heavily influenced by a lot of the Southern Pacific sculptures. And so in that way I was trying to figure out ways to kind of continue that as Europe kind of took from my heritage, Hawaiian culture, Oceania. I wanted to see if I could in turn flip it on its head and take from European culture. And one way of doing that for me was to look at what I knew, which was a lot of Hawaiian mythology, and it always ran, in my head, it always ran parallel with Greek mythology. And in studying Greek mythology and studying art history, I was exposed to the amphoras, which are the wine vases that the Greeks had painted on and sgraffitoed, and their own stories of their gods and their legends. So my original show in 2013 was depicting all of the Hawaiian gods and the Hawaiian legends onto gourd forms and ceramic vessels, which Hawaiians didn't have. They didn't have ceramic vessels. So I borrowed the Greek ceramic vessels and put it into my own work. So moving on to the biennial, it's the same idea. I'm putting stories onto ceramic vessels, and much in the same way of painting on one layer, a colored slip, and then etching back to the original layer. But this time, a lot of the stories are more contemporary. So a lot of the Hawaiian mythology, you see a lot of relationships between, cultural relationships between people, as well as cultural relationships between people and the land. And my whole vision of the biennial work is that the stories that I'm depicting are stories of relationships between people and the land today. So we're still telling stories thousands of years from now, hundreds of years from now. You know, they might be talking about how we treated Hawaii and the landscape as we do today. And the whole idea is that we're still creating stories about Hawaii in the way that the Hawaiians did. But are they stories that we're proud of? Are they stories that are worth repeating, are worth perpetuating. And so that's kind of the idea behind a lot of the imagery that I choose.